All right, welcome, kings and queens. Today we are back and we are talking Love and Marriage Huntsville as the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast gears up for a return on September 26th, which is Saturday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Honey, I came bearing gifts. Yes. So what we're going to do today is I am going to review the Love and Marriage Huntsville trailer, and I'm also going to drop a little bit of tea regarding the Real Housewives of Atlanta, specifically Drew and Ralph. Yeah, that's right. I got a little bit of tea that I've been sitting on for months and months and months and months. And you know what? I'll get to that when I get to that. But are y'all ready? Let's talk all thing Love and Marriage Huntsville. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the
Subscribe now.
I want to start with Kimmy. You know, they played this trailer of Kimmy and Maurice, and they were looked like on a bike ride, and that staged activity where they're out riding bikes. And yet again, he's talking about the lack of performance when it comes to her vagina and how he's not pleased at the output and the frequency and the cadence. And I saw it come across Instagram, and I wanted to say something, and I had to tell myself, sit this one out. Because there has been so many times that women like myself and women like you and also men like you, we've geared up, we've expressed and demonstrated outrage on her behalf only for her to come back and stand her ground to defend him. And that's when I thought to myself, Kimmy, oh Kimmy, could it be that you are a sucker for pain? Could it be that you thrive in chaos? Could it be that you're one of those women that if you're not suffering, it does not equate to a relationship? Some people like to suffer. Some people don't know any better, right? And not because they're a good person or a bad person, they just don't know any better. They don't have a template. And I believe, y'all, I'm now at a place in my life when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville, when it comes to not only Kimmy, but Leticia, that both are suckers for pain. And you thrive in chaos when it comes to your marriage. And I don't know. So with that being said, at some point, Kimmy, at your age as a mature woman, 50 plus, and that's not a dig, right? But as a mature woman, aren't you tired of your husband utilizing your vagina as his storyline? Does that not seem a bit off to you? Or are you not worth more than that? At what point do you look this nigga in his eyes and say, we're not talking about my pussy today. We're not talking about me giving you sex today. But what we can talk about is A, B, C, or D. Your vagina has been the talk of the town for the past 2.5 seasons. And I want more for you as a woman. However, I can't advocate for you if you're not willing to advocate for yourself. You guys are one, you and Maurice. You know, you said I do. You took the vows, you swore under oath. And Maurice does not treat you like one. Maurice treats you like a pop-up, a blow-up doll. When he addresses you in your body, I said it before, I'll say it again. A husband's job is to cover his wife. Why would your husband want to talk about the lack thereof when it comes to you as his wife on national television, when it comes to your box? Y'all, that ain't no healthy ass relationship. Why would you want to embarrass your wife like that, Maurice? Why would that even be your storyline? Why would your son be your storyline? Everybody's your storyline, Maurice, except yourself. Something's wrong and broken with everybody except you. It would be nice if you would sit down and talk about your dick problems, the overproduction, the overstimulation that you need when it comes to your penis. And just maybe you are a sex addict. All right. So they lead with this Crime Stopper, video clip. And y'all, you may be mad at me for this, but let's call a spade a spade. Many months ago, this thing broke. A story broke about Kiki allegedly being at Home Depot and stealing some items and coercing a child to conceal items that were not paid for. Y'all swore up and down it was a clone. And it was a woman in Huntsville that likes purple. Sometimes I be looking at y'all sideways. Because let me tell you something. I don't care who it is in my family, my group, my circle of friends, my coworkers. If I see you on TV stealing some shit, now I may not say anything or get involved in it or have an opinion, but ain't no way I'm going to look at you in the camera and say, nah, that's not my husband. I may not say nothing. I may hope that you realize that's not him or that's not my friend. But y'all swore up and down that wasn't Kiki. Y'all swore up and down that wasn't Kiki. Y'all, that's Kiki. Can we agree on that? That's the first thing. Like, we're all adults for whatever reason. I don't know why Kiki went in there and did that, quote unquote, allegedly, but she's on tape. So can we agree? That's Kiki. Okay, that's the first thing. Because I'm like, should I cover this? I'm like, hell yeah, you cover it like you cover everything else. Now, the past of what Kiki has been through doesn't matter to me. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And where you are at right now, Kiki's on tape in Home Depot, who has no reason to lie. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I wish Kiki would not have come out and denied that it was her and denied and threatened a lawsuit, because clearly it's you. So where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is I do not think reality television is a good fit for Kiki at the moment. I said it before, the Home Depot's alleged scandal, and I'll say it again. There has not been enough of recovery time for her to be on reality television. I've said you can go into any black neighborhood and pick out any individual, be it a man or a woman, and have a great success story with substance use and how they overcame it. That does not mean they are a great fit for reality television. I stand on that. I don't think it's a fit. I think there's too many triggers, and Kiki would have to be substantially healed in order for me to change my opinion. Okay? There needs to be some time between when she used in the past and a substantial amount of time to where she's now clean. So she's not triggered. She's not caught on camera, allegedly, in places like Home Depot. I believe in having real conversations. I don't skirt around anything on this page. Hey, and if it's triggering to you that I'm talking about it, I actually encourage you to prioritize your mental health and log off. But that's just my opinion. So with that being said, I'm not sure what's going to evolve when it comes to Kiki and her storyline, but I don't believe it's going to be good. And that's where I stand on that. But what are your thoughts? Do you feel like that's Kiki on camera? Or do you, like many others, feel like there's a woman? Let's transition to Leticia and Marcel. But before I get into the thick of it regarding them as a couple, specifically a married couple, I want to talk about Marcel. Marcel is a fucking bully when it comes to women. I don't appreciate he's the first one to volunteer to go up against a woman. And based on that, that's unheard of where I come from. Deep in the heart of Texas, you will get your ass whooped for inserting yourself in women's business. Men do not play that here. They sit back, they let the women handle that, and they feel like you're coming on too strong to women. That's automatic. Hey, bro, can you step outside? Can we talk to you? With that being said, I don't like Marcel becoming a bully of women. He's been able to get away with it for a number of years, and I don't give a damn if it's his canter or his humor that he finds funny to pick on women. But in my opinion, Marcel needs a good old fashioned ass whooping. And I think that would solve him being messy and getting in women's business. Now, I do not condone violence, but I think in this case, if a strong man steps up and put him in his place when it comes to bullying those women, he'll be all right moving forward. But until that happens, he's going to continue to be messy, to be a messy broad on television. And it's actually not a good look, Marcel. It's not a good look as a man. Now, let me shift into Leticia and Marcel's story. I do not believe the story for 1 second. I cannot stand it. I find it very ironic and funny that Carlos King can speak on everybody else's show and everybody else's network when it comes to a cast shakeup and recasting and starting from scratch. Bro, Carlos King, can you sweep underneath your own rug? I could see if you did not have an opinion or offer your insight on any other network, but the fact that you have a lot of thoughts regarding what should be done on Bravo. Leticia is pregnant when we know she's not, and Leticia and Marcel is now questioning her fidelity. Don't play with us. That's fake, y'all. That's a fake ass storyline. They're skating by. Yet once again, I don't believe it. I'm not interested in it. It's poor effort on the behalf of the Scotts. I also believe that Kimmy and Maurice are somewhat a part of that when it comes to contriving the story of money and all of this. Marcel said we didn't contribute. It's just boring at this point. It's lackluster. It's Lou. Big Lou. I've always been a fan of Big Lou, but Louis, it seems like they're kind of slipping something in about you. It's like they're creating the storyline passive aggressively about you not being home, which leads us to feel or think, scratch our head. Automatically, one's going to think infidelity. Chris made a joke about it. Marcel made a joke about it. I know you're not used to being, what word did he use with Tiffany? Valued. What's going on with you, Big Lou? I pray to God you're not cheating. Because y'all, if you go back and listen carefully, that's what they're putting out. It came from two men. It came from Chris. Oh, he ain't home. They say he never come home. And it came from Marcel taking a dig at Tiffany. And also Tiffany's crying about him not being at home. Ain't that much work in the world when it comes to having a wife and a family at home, because you used to be home. Now, I'm not saying that the man don't have a right to work. That's not what I'm saying. But what's changed between you and Tiffany and the dynamics in your marriage where she's feeling like she's not getting what she's needing from you? Because last season, you were one of the best husbands. So, Big Lou, we're looking at you. We're looking at you. Tiffany, the man tried to warn you. And yet here we are. Now, Louis, I don't know if you're doing this to teach her a lesson, but at this point, all right, so let's shift this conversation to what you've all been waiting for. Oh, yes, honey, when it comes to the Real Housewife of Atlanta, Drew, this is not a coincidence. And I really hated to see you sing that song to Ralph on that reunion stage with me knowing that I know. But if you go back, you all, and you look at this season and the amount of effort that she was trying to create, right, and put into that marriage to ensure that she did everything in her due diligence to save it, from his facial expressions to his lack of effort. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Number one, let's cover this cousin, Courtney. That ain't Ralph's damn cousin. Y'all know it and I know it. Take a look at this video when Ralph first introduced Courtney to Drew and they come into the house. I saw this a while back, but I was so busy that I could not cover it. Yes, he rubs her ass, and you can see her pushing his handbag. So this is a bold mofo. Ralph is a bold mofo. I ain't seen one like this one, but they do exist. This is the type of mofo that will bring a woman into your house while you're at work, on vacation, and have sexual relations with her. Because the fact that he walked Courtney's ass through that door and pretended that she was his cousin tells you a lot about the mindset, the disrespect, and his dislike and his hate for Drew. His desire to put another woman in front of her that he could possibly, strong likelihood of being sexually active with, in front of his wife, passing it off as his cousin. Yeah, you some kind of wonderful. And Courtney, girl, what kind of woman are you to walk into another woman's home pretending to be a man's cousin that you're allegedly sleeping with? Girl, I wish you ain't ran up on the right one. You ain't ran up on the right one. because tricks are for kids, you silly rabbit. If you run into the right woman's home, and if you pull that shit again and the right wife knows, you could get your butt whooped in somebody's home. It takes a lot of guts, a lot of confidence, and a lot of courage to walk into somebody's house when you know you're sleeping with their husband. But I showed you all him rubbing her butt, her pushing his hand back. Baby, that ain't no cousin. That ain't no cousin. But there's more than meets the eye when it comes to Drew and Ralph. You remember a few months ago when Drew and Ralph, when it was announced that they were divorcing, and the way we found out is because they filed for divorce within 60 minutes of each other. Drew got there first. Ralph got there 60 minutes later and filed. And I covered this story and I jokingly said, Ralph must have took a wrong turn on the interstate and hit a batch of traffic. Y'all, guess what? Guess who's been coaching Ralph through this divorce and who actually coached Ralph to divorce Drew? Marty Marr. Good old Martel Holt. Oh, yes, baby. You heard it here first. He has been coaching. He's the one that said you should divorce her. And Ralph has acted on it and he's never turned back. Now, the reason I did not release this initially is because Ralph came out with a statement a couple of months ago. Go back, fact check me. And said that I really love my wife and I value my family, blah, blah, blah. Imagine that. Two narcissists, allegedly, working together to destroy a woman. Honey, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. You heard it here first. I told you. Go back and rewind the tapes. And Courtney's very well aware of this. Go back and look at episode when Courtney, she organized an activity. And when Sheree came in, Courtney says, hey, how's Martell? Tell him I said hi. That's because Courtney is allegedly in relations with Ralph, and Ralph and Martell are really good friends. See, follow me. You don't take a new girl who comes out the boondocks, the bushes, all of a sudden as a cousin. Nobody's ever heard of her. And now you're telling Sheree, tell Martell I said hi. You see, Sheree had no reaction. You better gear up and fight, and you better